So, hey guys, welcome to In Mind YouTube channel. And today we're having another guest for our interview sessions. We're having Mike here from Velvet Capital, and it's going to be pretty spicy because we are going to talk about the project that literally not just didn't dump during DTG and sex listing, but it did like 5x's during this pretty bloody market. So yeah, I'm shutting my mouth. Michael, please give us a short intro about yourself. What are you doing? Like, what's your role in Velvet Capital? And then we'll move forward to the questions.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. So I'm Michael. I'm the Chief DGen Officer over at Velvet Capital, and we're a DeFi trading platform with portfolio management. So we combine AI agents with trading and portfolio management in DeFi, and try to make an experience for people where they can keep up with the market and actually win in this market. That's only continuing to get harder and harder over the years and over the cycles. So yeah, that's our goal, is to build trading tools that make it better for traders and build a platform that every trader wants to come and use.
Thanks, Mike. So let's get to the juicy part, right? So the market conditions and market situation right now, it's pretty, I don't want to say bad, I don't want to say fucked up, but I want to say that it's not that stable as it was at least like a couple of months before. So we all know that Velvet Capital is one of the rare projects that are not just didn't dump during the TGE, right? But actually made 5x's. Just like reveal the secret to us. What did you do, guys? I mean, how is that possible?
Yeah, I mean, so I would say there's a few things we did that really helped. Kind of, if you looked at token price, one thing would be we launched at a low FDV. People weren't always happy when we first launched at the FDV. So we launched at a lower FDV, which kind of helped selling pressure from there. So I'd say that helped, like just token price in general. Was we launched on Binance Launchpad at a very low FDV, and so we had kind of room to run on day one and day two, even though like most projects will go and launch at a much higher FDV and then have to find their equilibrium much lower than the original price, where we found it higher than the original price. And then I would say the other thing was also incentivizing staking pretty early. So we have a GEMS program, which I'll probably get into more later, but people want to stake Velvet tokens when they have them to earn more of these gems. So we have a lot of tokens going into staking, and that's between 2 weeks and 4 years. So a lot of the tokens being taken off the market through that. And then I would say the other thing is kind of building a long-term community. A lot of our biggest airdrop recipients and that type of stuff, they, instead of dumping, they actually wanted to go and stake, and we were helping them stake like day one. They weren't using it necessarily to just make money off the initial airdrop, especially a lot of the whales from the airdrop. They wanted to come in and stake and keep supporting and using the product. And yeah, we're going to continue kind of bringing more and more utility to the token, and hopefully keep token holders happy and be able to kind of make it a long-term kind of value play for people. That's kind of our goal, not to just make it really high FDV early on, bring all the hype, and then die down after that. We want it to be much longer kind of vision with the token, and we'll be kind of slowly rolling out new features over time with the token. So one thing we'll have coming pretty soon, maybe by the time this interview's live, depending on what day it goes live, we'll have trading fees, like trading cash back based on how much of the token you've staked and volumes. So like another utility for people to hold the token. I think that's very important, especially in this market, is continuing to bring more utility to tokens over time. And the market will probably reward that in the long run versus not having utility and just kind of relying on hype.
Thanks. And before we dive deeper into the GEM program, could you like give more insights about this cashback like program you're having soon, so that like our
Yep.
community and maybe some founders can learn already how to do proper marketing?
Yeah. So I mean, we'll be releasing this from the time we're recording this probably a few days after. That would be around November 10th to 14th kind of thing, but it'll be based on how much you stake and how much you trade in the previous gems epoch. Um, you'll be able to earn cash back on your trade. So I don't want to say too much about it in case this comes out before, but we'll be making a big announcement around that um, and making it so we're as competitive on the fee game as anyone could possibly be. It'll probably be impossible for anyone to long term be more competitive on fees than what we're going to announce with this new cashback program. So I think it'll be very exciting, and it'll be something that even attracts more kind of whales in the trading game to come over to Velvet because of how aggressive it is, and I would say kind of on a long term basis, unless you're gonna subsidize it massive, it's gonna be beating it would be very difficult. I'll say that from like a margin standpoint. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to say too much because I don't want this to come out a day before and then and then it kind of ruins the announcement. But I would say it it'll be a pretty aggressive cashback program to traders, especially bigger traders who are trading lots of volume and can pick up a lot of tokens. They'll be very incentivized to use Velvet going forward.
Thanks. Looks like you're being pretty aggressive on this one. Is your like jam program is also that aggressive?
Yeah. So the gem program, basically how it works, we reward our users over time. So we have a 40 million Velvet pool going to gems, which will go to the all of it will go to users of the product. And how it works is by staking, by trading, by providing TVL to portfolios, by referring others to the platform. You earn gems daily. So you come back every day, you mine your gems, and then on the 10th of every month, just because we did TG on July 10th. So now the 10th of every month, the community will get emissions from gems based on how many gems they earn. So right now we have a million Velvet going to users on November 10th. So that'll be the next one. And then we'll have it again on December 10th. So that's current market price around 200,000 ish. I think a little over right now, but yeah, we'll be, this is basically our way of keeping people on the product, keeping people wanting to get the token, because when you receive these gems, the way you get more than Velvet the next time around would be through staking and through trading more and through providing more TVL to portfolios. And each epoch has got kind of progressively more competitive, I would say. But token price has also gone up with that. So the token rewards aren't necessarily as high and as easy to get as like Epoch 1. We're now on Epoch 4. But like the dollar amounts have stayed pretty relatively the same throughout it. And then we'll be continuing this for quite a long time, a few years at least, until the whole 40 million pool has been distributed to users. And I think this is a great way that we're just kind of keeping most of the user base around past TG, because a lot of people, they'll lose a big part of their user base. Like you'll have TG, you have a lot of airdrop farmers. You'll have, and then they'll basically take TG, sell the token, go find the next project. But we decided to say, okay, we had TGE, so now we're going to give you guaranteed rewards monthly, and so you don't have to like go and farm an unknown kind of project. You can just continue using Velvet, trade as much as you want, stake your tokens, be able to be in portfolios managed by others or created by yourself, and you'll continue to earn every month. So I think that's a big thing in terms of kind of keeping the user base active after TG, which a lot of projects struggle with. And I've seen that in the past, being in crypto since around 2017. Is just like looking at it since then, and then working in it since around 2021, 2022. Is a lot of these projects, they have a lot of hype pre-TGE. A lot of people come on, a lot of people farm it, and then you hit TGE, and then kind of 95% of the people are gone overnight. So this is kind of our way of saying that the people who stay around are going to be rewarded the most long term. And I think it's worked pretty well so far, and we're about 10% of the way through the pool, so there's still a lot of rewards to come to users, and people seem to be quite excited about it. Like even me personally, I'm trying to mine as many gems as possible just because it's like an easy way to earn, and it's kind of guaranteed rewards every month. Even if you don't have a massive amount of gems, you're still getting some velvet tokens, and so it's kind of worth it even for the whales or for the smaller players out there.
That's really cool. I mean, I don't see much of the projects doing pretty well-structured post-TG activities and pre-TG activities, basically, right? But getting like making a step back and thinking behind the fundamentals, basically, right? So we all know that market narrative is one of the most important stuff, and not a lot of projects can translate basically their can kind of technical language into marketing narrative. So how did you manage to do that?
Yeah, I mean that's a great question. I would say that's one of the hardest things with crypto is you have kind of a few different audiences, especially kind of with what we're doing, where you have the highly sophisticated algorithmic traders are your users. You have other projects using your trade execution system. You have retail traders. You have funds who are like family offices who just want to manage kind of stable coins or whatever it is. And then you have like the meme coin traders who really, some of them are quite technical, some of them aren't. And then being able to kind of convey a message. So, I mean, our big thing, like, we try not to get too deep dive into most of the technical stuff in terms of marketing communication. Um, we built our whole trade infrastructure to be intent based and did that about, I want to say, a year and a half ago. We decided to go intent based there where you don't have to choose the route you want to go through. You send in your transaction basically saying, okay, I want to swap ETH for virtuals here. And then we basically just take that transaction and find you the best route automatically and then send it through that route. At the time, that was seen as very new. For those of you who might not have been in crypto for very long, it was most people were kind of running systems where you would still have to pick your route. So, and we were doing this at the start where you would want to make that transaction. We would show you four different routes, then you'd click which route you wanted, which ended up not really making sense for a lot of end users, especially as kind of new users came into the system and people wanted just simplicity. Because our original goal was just to defragment all of DeFi and crypto, and we were seeing in 2022 that things were kind of taking off in a way that that like people couldn't keep up anymore, and that's only kind of gone exponential. So by having a trade system where you can just send in what you want to do and then we automatically route everything, that makes it a lot simpler. So we we kind of did a little bit of talk on it and how it worked early on when we released it, and was more technical then. But now we kind of just promote it as, yeah, you make a swap, we find you the best route, it's automatically traded. You don't really have to think about it on technical terms, but people can go to like our docs, talk to the team directly, and we can get way more technical into it for people. So that's kind of one area, and then the other area that was like kind of super technical would be kind of the AI side. So we have a multi-agent framework for DeFi agents, so agents specializing in DeFi. Um, and I would say instead of kind of making our communications super difficult on how we route the questions, on how the prompts get answered, on how all these agents come and work together, we just say to people like, you ask the AI a question like you would ChatGPT or Grok or any other AI model. It's the same kind of similar interface. It's just chatbot. And from there, we just basically send your question to whatever agents are best equipped for that, and then they'll answer it. And then it provides you an AI analyst for the market. So you can look at this whole market and say, okay, like what's happening today in the market, what's the biggest news, what are funding rates looking like on different tokens. Can you analyze me this token? Can you find which meme coins are like pre-bonded and looking like they're going to take off? Whatever question you want. And then we have a bunch of agents that are specialized in different parts of the market that can then take that answer for you. So, I mean, all we have to say is literally just ask the AI anything with the market, and then we're just going to route it for you. And then you don't have to worry about, okay, which AI model or which agent is best equipped for answering this question. That's all done in the back end. And we don't really have to go and explain from a technical level how everything works, because I think that's where people get confused is when you really go down the rabbit hole of, from a technical standpoint, how something works. They'll end up asking a lot of questions instead of just being like, yeah, just try it out, use it, ask it a few questions, think of whatever crazy questions you can ask it about the market, and then just see how it responds. And I can almost guarantee you'll be pretty happy with the response that you get because of how we designed it. But yeah, we just don't have to get into from a marketing standpoint and like social media and blog posts and podcasts and all that type of stuff. For the most part, you don't. I don't think you really have to get that deep into technical stuff. It's different when you're talking to developers or super sophisticated players one on one. You can get more into that if they have that kind of if they're that technical and they really want to know about it, then you can get into it with them. But for the average person, like even myself, like going to a new project, I don't always care about exactly how everything works. It's more, does it work or does it not work? I think is the big question. And people just want something that works and that is simple to use. And if you can give them those two things, then they'll want to use the product. That's kind of my overarching kind of thing with how marketing communications works, is just show how it works, show what you can use it for, and then show how it can help you. And then people from there can kind of just go as deep as they want. And docs are helpful for those who are technical. But yeah, just trying to avoid like a lot of super technical jargon on a lot of these products, I would say.
I mean, that's how marketing should work, I believe. And that no one is
Yeah,
even understanding how it should work. So
yeah.
sometimes like what I found from different founders talking to them and communicating like on daily basis, that sometimes people think that, okay, I'll make a post with a lot of different, like, a long form thread without even explaining in simple words as for like 5 years old child what's going on around with my products. And then I will just push it around the QOL, spending the like tons of money on budget, and then thinking, oh my gosh, why do I have like negative ROI or like zero ROI from the efforts I've made? Like literally, they don't understand sometimes what's marketing communication. Okay, while we're talking about the ROI, I was thinking, maybe you can like reveal some of the secrets from your marketing strategy. Like, did you put a lot of efforts to the paid marketing tools, or you were focusing more on the organic, or did you like had a balance between the two approaches? Because it's like also important stuff, because most of the founders rely on the organic way. They don't believe in the paid marketing tools. Otherwise, there are some founders who still believe that Kaito will bring you like thousands and millions of money during the pre-sales.
Yeah. I mean, so we did a combination of both. So like organic, we ran a referral program, which has worked quite well, with like fee share to people who refer others. Kind of building for the last 3.5 years, we've kind of built a good community of people who are power users and share it with their friends and kind of bring their friends on board. And then kind of us personally on Twitter and our account, like kind of organically growing through that. But then we also supplement that with a lot of kind of paid campaigns, like running one with you guys, pre-TGE. And then we've done a bunch of them in terms of different campaigns we've run from time to time. Because I mean, organic's great, but you can't always get into every circle through organic because people, they're not always going to see it. And you want to be able to get in front of more people and people that wouldn't normally be your audience, or who might be your intended audience, but they just never come across you because, I mean, social media platforms have I mean, Twitter's probably in the, I don't know, 100 million posts a day or something crazy would be my guess. So there's a lot that people can see, and there's a lot of noise to break through. So you kind of have to, I think, at certain times be like, yeah, we're going to run this paid campaign or this KOL campaign, or right now we're running a wall chain campaign. We didn't do it pre-TGE, but we're doing it post-TGE, where we're just kind of incentivizing people to kind of talk about us more, so we can hopefully get more and more people to post about us, and then that puts us in front of more and more eyes. So I would say it's a big kind of like combination of the both, because and then you'd have things like gems where I don't know, like it's probably mostly organic, but it's also not because there are rewards. So it kind of makes users be like, okay, I want to keep using this, and and this is cool how I'm earning, and I can earn more if I refer. Along with fees, I earn more gems, so I'm going to share with others. But I'm just kind of doing token emissions through that. So yeah, I mean, for us, I would say the whole thing's a combo, and it's a balancing act, because you don't want to go 100% paid and then you're just spending a crazy amount of money, but you don't want to go all organic and just pray that one day you get some tweet along the lines that hits a 5 million views and gets you a few thousand users. That's kind of like just taking a shot in the dark and hoping, and you could spend years attempting that strategy and never get it. Or you could maybe make one or two posts and one of those goes viral and you hit it and it works. So yeah, I mean, for us, it's been a combo of the two, and I mean, we played around with a ton of different tactics and strategies over the years, being around since early 22 and launching our first product in late 22. Um, we've attempted many things over the years, and kind of when we have stuff that works, we usually double down, triple down, and then when we don't, we usually go on to the next thing, try to find what we can do, and trying to basically play around with everything. Because yeah, I wouldn't say I was taught as a normal marketer would be. It's more been just through experience and through testing different strategies and different tactics and stuff, and not necessarily like learning from like a classroom or anything like that. So I kind of went in just trying new things, and that was kind of our strategy. And then figuring out what works kind of over time. And it's been kind of years in the making of different kind of campaigns, different kind of messaging, trying to figure out what works, trying to figure out what actually brings value. So that's been kind of our strategy since launch, and yeah, we continue kind of running combinations of both of those two things.
And if we're talking about the paid channels, what would you recommend like to the founders who are hearing that right now? And I mean, what was the most effective channels in the terms of token pre-sale, let's say, for the token, like token users, token to, gosh, in the terms of token users and in the form of community building? Like what would be the best match for these two categories?
Yeah, yeah. A lot of that I would say depends on your product. Um, it depends on who your audience is. For us being a trading platform, um, a lot of it came down to like pre-TG trying to build out a few different regions that we had. Um, so like using different, I would say like Galaxy Zealy, that kind of stuff to get kind of people joining the Discord and Telegram early on. That was kind of a big kind of push of ours back when we were kind of first launching and kind of had no one really in our Discord, Telegram, and kind of trying to grow that, trying to make it so when you come to our accounts and try to come to our Discord, Telegrams, and all that, people are active. We ran kind of KOL campaigns. So like we try to find top kind of trading KOLs, ones that would have audiences, and whether it's trading or DeFi yield or meme coins or anything like that. We tried to kind of partner with those, have them share it with their audience. We had partnerships. So like, I think especially trying to get like the first kind of noise out there, I think partnerships are really key. And people in the DeFi and Web3 space are usually pretty open to partnerships. If you do like integrations and all that type of stuff, so that helps kind of um, boost your kind of overall awareness. And when we were just starting out, we had partnerships running with projects that were much bigger than us, and we integrate them, and they would help us with like reposts or kind of posting about us. So that was very helpful. And then yeah, now we try to help other projects that are maybe just starting out who we think have good tech and could be good integration through partnerships and integrations and like things that we think could help us or we could help them, and kind of being able to cross audiences in that way. I think is always a good way to grow, and not a very expensive way to grow either, because you're not having to pay $100 or $1,000 for a partnership announcement. You're more doing an integration, and then it's kind of in both of your interests to run a partnership announcements and all that. So I think that's been very helpful. And then yeah, I mean, working with different kind of trading groups, working with, I think Telegram's been a decent channel for us in terms of groups. And then X, we found a big discrepancy between people over time. Some of the people you think that would perform really well don't, and then some of the people you don't really have much expectations for, they'll perform well. Um, so we've kind of played around with a bunch of different people on there who we think have content that would be kind of similar to the people that would want to go and use our product. So I think it's not really a one size fits all in terms of who you can work with and all that. It's more about where does your potential audience live, and how do you find them? And so trying to find different things like that. Like probably our biggest campaign that we ever ran was pre-TGE. We ran with Binance Wallet. So that brought like, it was like, I don't know, probably close to 100,000 people trying the product at the time and getting some small rewards each. Like I think we did like lucky draw to 5 or 10,000 or 15,000 people at the time. That was kind of a big kind of like a way to get to a lot of people very fast and with like a small amount of effort, and kind of being able to build it that way. So I think that was probably our biggest reach campaign that we've ever done, in terms of the amount of people, and getting in front of the most eyeballs. So yeah, that was probably our biggest one pre-TG. And then since TG, I would say a combination of gems and now wall chain have been kind of the biggest kind of paid kind of campaigns that we've run since then.
That's really cool. And talking about like one of the paid tools like Kaito, did you use that or did you consider using that? Like, what's your take on that? Because we hear recently that some founders believe that Kaito is not working at all. It's just the waste of huge ton of money. Some of them are still believe that not Kaito, but Kaito-ish type of the platforms are working. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, from our experience so far, I would say um, it's working pretty well in terms of using wall chain. We had talked to the Kaido team and a few others as well, doing the kind of yapping mindshare type of campaigns. But yeah, I mean, we decided to go wall chain. I think they're mostly similar. There's a few kind of differences between the different products, but yeah, I mean, with Kaido, I think it was kind of the first InfoFi project that launched. I think in the spring, it was quite effective in terms of who was using it and all that type of stuff. But I think you've had over time probably more people who have accounts optimized for Kaido and InfoFi. So I think that's kind of hurt results a little bit. Is just having accounts that aren't necessarily that powerful on crypto Twitter, but they're optimized around Kaido. Like I remember just my personal like X, it would be like seeing all these communities where it's like, okay, I'm a smart follower, so now I'm gonna follow people who are also smart followers. If you follow me, and then you kind of get a Kaido score based on that, and then you can earn more airdrops. And I think over time, it's one of those things where it's hard to keep an incentive system that's similar going for too long of a time when it's something like where there's no dollar value being exchanged, um, because people can game the system. They can figure out, okay, who's a smart follower? How does this work? Now, how do I algorithmically kind of figure out how this thing works? So I think there's still value in it. I still see like if people run Kaido campaigns, I'm more likely to probably see your project, just what like thinking about it personally. But I wouldn't say you you can't the first few projects you can kind of run a Kaido campaign and it would be all you would need, and it was kind of taking over crypto Twitter meta. Now it's not the same as that, so you need to be able to supplement it with actually real campaigns or real product, or something that people really want to use, and like they see it and they're like, oh, that's really cool, because there's so much kind of info-fi noise out there, like right now. So I think a lot of it's project to project. I think a lot of it's you need to supplement all these different marketing tactics. You can't just say I'm going to run one thing and hope for the best here, because I don't think that normally works. So I hope that answers your question. It was kind of a little flip floppy, but
It is. I mean,
yeah,
I like to hear the opinion of different founders, what they think about some marketing tools. Okay, so moving forward, I wanted to talk like and touch base the content marketing, and basically we talked a bit about the narrative, but also wanted to talk about the content specifically. So do you still think that basically content marketing and content that you're creating within the project is still the king in Web3, or something has changed already and content doesn't mean much that's in the market?
no, I 100% think it is. And that's probably one thing I forgot on the wall chain side was just the community content out there. Last week, I believe I was posting about this on my personal X, but basically saying like, since we launched this campaign, the content the community has come out with over time has been quite powerful. Like we had people creating rap songs about Velvet. We had people running spaces about Velvet. We had people creating all these different videos, threads, and then I've been I've even been reposting them, and we've even done I think a few reposts from our main account, and we've talked to a lot of these creators, and we're like, yeah, we're going to come out with your video on our main account, and here's a little bonus for that. And I mean, I think that's probably one of the coolest things with like a wall chain is you get with all of like the bots or whoever, you still get people who are really going to try hard and make content. When I saw the rap song, it was kind of funny, and we reposted it and stuff, and we were kind of laughing about it, but it was quite clever, and I always love seeing kind of people who in the community who can think of kind of cooler content than our internal team can, and kind of let the minds of the world kind of work on creating content. And we also like we'll create content ourselves, but having a few people internally is never going to be as creative as having thousands of people all around the world who have different specialties and who know different types of content. And I mean, at the end of the day, like all social media is how can you create content that when people look at it, they stop and they want to go onto your content and they want to actually listen to it or watch it or read it, because there's so much noise on all social medias. And so, yeah, I mean, we've been starting also do TikTok a little bit, in terms of creating like having a few people who create short form videos on TikTok, and those range from like animated videos, AI videos, dancing videos, whatever it is. And I think just having more forms of content that could potentially go viral, and could grab someone's attention, is kind of the name of the game when it comes to social media. I think from a simple standpoint, it's if you create content that people want to watch or want to read, um, or want to listen to, that's how you stand out above the noise. Because I mean, if you're just doing a simple graphic every time with a simple message, and people are just going to scroll right by that, and it's not even going to register that you're really posting. But if you are creating funny memes or funny videos or whatever it is, or engaging threads, then people will stop, people will look at it, and then kind of the algorithms work. Like the more time you spend on a post, the more it's going to give you of that, because all these social media companies are just they're optimized for time on the app, which optimizes for revenue for them. So the more time you can have people looking at your content and interacting with it, and sharing it, the more they're going to feed those people your content, and then people that are similar to them your content, and the more reach you'll get over time. So I think content's 100% king in the whole social media game. I think really when it comes to social media, I don't know if anything else even comes remotely close to just how quality is your content out there.
Thanks for your answer. And like I think we're moving to the last question for this interview. If you were like right now in the front of a lot of founders and you were given a piece of advice for founders, for CMOs, what would like these pieces of advice would be?
Hmm. That's a great question. I would say from a high level, the best thing to do is like long term, and this is still playing out for us, so this isn't necessarily done, but um, finding some type of new meta or new kind of spin on things that you think will grow, let's say 100 to 1,000 or 10,000x over the next 3 to 5 years. So last October, we kind of took a big bet on AI based trading, in the whole DeFi space. And we were one of the first agents to launch on virtuals. And at the time, we had a trade terminal, we had portfolios. We didn't have as many chains or anything like that, or as many different features around it. But um, there wasn't too much that would like separate us from others. And there was a lot of kind of competition in the game, being crypto being having one of the main use cases just be trading and DeFi. But we kind of took a big bet, on okay, these AI agent things are coming out, on virtuals at the time. And last October, nobody's talking about this. Nobody really knows it exists. And how do we kind of position ourselves at kind of this cross section? And we had known the virtuals team for quite a long time, even going back before they were doing agents. And so we decided, okay, we'll launch a agent on top of virtuals. We were like the fifth or sixth agent to launch, at the time, and no one was talking about it. It was kind of something that I don't even think people were really aware that AI agents would become a thing at the time. It's kind of weird going back, and it was only a little over a year ago, and what's kind of happened in that space. But we kind of decided that AI based trading would be the future, and that 5 to 10 years from now, I think probably 90% plus of trading will go through AI, in some way, form, or another. And kind of being like, okay, we're going to take a bet on deep AI being kind of being the big play that we want to make here. And we've kind of stuck with that ever since. Like you had the your cat's going all over. We kind of took a big bet on deep AI, and then it kind of took off. Like January, February, people were talking about it. It was everywhere, and then it kind of died down. And then it's had certain times where it's come back a little bit. But I mean, we've stuck to the messaging. We've kept pushing it. We've kept developing it, and it's kind of one of those things that I think is a market that will grow 100x plus, probably even more than that over the coming 5, 10 years, where I think it'll take over all manual trading. And I think we want to kind of position ourselves as a leader. So like, I mean, from a high level, I would give the advice to kind of take a bet on some new meta, something that no one's really talking about, something that's new, and you think over the long term will work, and then kind of pushing that narrative down people's throats over and over and over and over. Um, I think that's from a high level probably the best thing you can do, is to take a bet that's not necessarily consensus at the time, and then try to make a consensus. So like we're only a year into this. I would expect probably 3 to 5 years down the road, you'd have the average person telling you that, oh no, this is like obvious. When at the time it was not obvious, then you have like certain times of euphoria where everyone believes in it and then they all kind of go away. Um, so like I think that was big. And I think that was really a game changer for us, in terms of kind of breaking through kind of noise, is finding that niche where we could insert ourselves and become like a market leader, in that specific niche versus just saying, yeah, we're just going to be a trading platform you can trade, and then having thousands of other competitors out there across different chains. Instead saying, okay, we're going to take a big swing at AI and AI based trading and try to be the best one you can go, because then by the time it's consensus, we'll be 3 years ahead of everyone else versus, kind of trying to build the same exact product as everyone else does. And yeah, I mean, it's had ups and downs, but I think when we look at this, probably in the next, like if we come back in 2028 and listen to this interview, I think you'll see that that market has grown quite a large amount. And I think that's kind of the main thing, when you come to more of the product side and you're building a product, is kind of finding where you can insert yourselves and try to become a leader in that specific area. And then I would say the other thing is probably just testing different things. We went through many tests of different campaigns, different messaging over time. Like I said, we were around since 22 and we only started DeFi back in 24. We were trying a bunch of different things over the years, and really being able to be nimble on your feet until you find what exactly your product does. Because there's kind of like a quote out there. I think it might be Peter Thiel or someone, but basically saying that, your product as a startup when you first start won't make sense, because if it did make sense, someone would be doing it already. So the first iteration of our product was on-chain indexes, and we launched like 8 to 10 on-chain indexes, and we were just like, here's the top 10, here's like a equally weighted, here's a market cap weighted, here's a DeFi index of the top kind of dexes, and we did that kind of stuff. We launched on BNB chain, and then we kind of realized, okay, people don't really in crypto want to hand their money off to just an index fund, and it's not going to turn into like the S&P, because I mean, people in crypto want to go for risk, and people in crypto have kind of a perception, but sometimes it's a reality where they're like, I can beat this market, and I'm more intelligent than like just the overall top 10 market cap, and maybe I embarrass 5 of the top 10 market cap and then bullish the other 5, and I want to be able to play certain tokens. So we kind of realized like after that, it was okay, yeah, we need to figure out ways to make it so people can actually customize this stuff, and then kind of built out a portfolio product where, you could then go and create your own portfolio and open it up to anyone to create their own portfolio. And then it was okay, now we're realizing that people don't always want to deposit into a smart contract. Some people would rather have the tokens sitting in their wallet where they can have, full self custody of them, even though the smart contract's non custodial and we don't have custody. There's still a smart contract out there holding the assets, and they're not holding the assets themselves. So, how do we do that? We built a trading terminal, with wallets. And then, kind of, okay, now that we have a trading terminal with wallets, what's kind of like now people want faster trade execution, and they want, to be able to get into new meme coins as fast as possible. And they want to just be able to go quick in and out of one token to another. And how do we do that? We built, out like an integration with a turnkey on embedded wallets. So now you can spin up an embedded wallet, deposit in there, and trade as much as you want, and not even have to confirm the transaction in your wallet. And it's all done within a few milliseconds on the most part. And you don't even have to think about, okay, how much gas do I have at this time? It's just automatically calculated. And so kind of building over time towards the different aspects we saw that were users would complain about. And like we had a lot of conversations with users over the years, especially those early users and the people that we saw, okay, they're putting the most in portfolios or they're trading the most right now. We like to talk to those people and say, okay, if we were to add this product, would you use us more? Would you use us less? Would you actually use this day one? Um, like with this integration, would you want to use this? Would you not want to use it? And then trying to figure out kind of where the market stands. And then you also sometimes have to take bets on what you think will work because people don't always know before they see it what they think will work. So like the AI stuff, we didn't really do much in terms of, I would say, asking customers about it. We kind of launched it super quietly. We told nobody about it. We were building in the back end. And then people figured out over a few months because we had a token that had the name Velvet in it. We had people start asking us, "Is this you guys?" And we are like, "Yes, it is us." But we didn't tell anyone for about 2 months because we were trying to build it out kind of in stealth. But we had a token launched, and the token kind of, when virtuals took off, did well, and our community kind of got a hold of it and basically realized that it was us that were running it, and we were kind of building it out. And because people don't always know exactly what they want, but you can build around what they are probably going to want, and then you can ask them questions on certain things where you can find a lot of, especially smaller features. They'll kind of, a lot of times they'll tell you what they want, but on like a big feature or big change, they won't always know what they exactly want. So it's a lot of kind of taking educated bets, and it's like, I mean, we're a trading platform. It's like making a trade. You you don't always know, like, okay, the market's going to move in this direction, but you're saying, okay, my risk reward on this trade and my EV on this trade is X. So I have a positive EV here, and I know my risk isn't that bad compared to the reward that could potentially come. And you have to take some of those bets over time. So I'd say, yeah, I mean, being confident in the bets you take, and kind of swinging for the fences in certain areas, and then using your community to maybe build out and figure out what you need to fill in the gaps is a big thing on the product side, because you'll hear from people certain small features, and if you hear them over and over again, it's probably something that thousands of people would want to know and want to have, versus like, yeah, changing your whole product around kind of thing. Um, so yeah, I mean, that was a long-winded answer, but I would say there's like those would probably be like the top high level advice I would give, would be kind of taking a bet that you think is going to grow, and you think that's underappreciated, talking to users around kind of optimizing the product, and then being able to have the confidence and the vision from team members to really make a new meta and insert yourselves into a new meta that you will kind of double, triple down on, and you really believe in. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, then you're probably making a horrible bet. But you have to kind of take those chances, or else kind of the market will pass you by, because others will, and some of them will work and some of them won't. And you kind of have to place certain things aggressively from the product side and the marketing side and all that. So yeah, that's kind of the high level advice I would give, because I think from product to product, it's quite different on what you would do from a strategy standpoint.
Thanks a lot for sharing. I mean, it's been too exciting and too insightful for our audience. I mean, even for me as a marketing person, it's really nice piece of advice. Thanks a lot for sharing that.
Yeah, we'll come back in 6 months or something and do a part two and share how AI has grown.
Oh yeah, that sounds like a good plan, but like 6 months, it's too much. Maybe like in a couple of months. but like
Yeah,
6 months is too much for me.
yeah.
Great to hear that. Okay, thanks a lot, Michael, for being here today and sharing all this insights and information. Like, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to know more insights and everything going around in mind and Velvet Capital. Of course, we'll share all the links within the description to Mike's personal X account and to Velvet Capital. So, guys, thanks a lot for being with us today and have a great day.
Yep. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, shoot us a follow and follow along on what we're building.